got it.
Mom, June has been wanting to sing Wells on the Bus.
Yes.
Well.
Oh, you're going to sing for us? Come here.
If we have a big piece of cardboard, we could all get on the bus.
Junie,
Here, I'll hold you.
Okay.
So people can see.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
let's hear
yes,
it.
yes.
You have to sing real loud, June.
Yay!
You're so good. Thank you, June.
I think we're going to see more from that talented lady in the future.
Can't wait till we hear what the wipers on the bus do. I want to know.
June. She wants to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Simon's just doing
What?
Simon's going to sing this.
Oh, okay, come on,
All right,
Simon.
Simon.
Yes, Simon!
I love to hear Simon sing.
This is the best.
Happy birthday to the best granddaddy ever.
Gaylord's on the
Lord. Okay, this is not going to be long, but I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming to Salt Lake. The ones, for Brendan, Linda, your families. We just love you so much, and it's so fun to celebrate Bob's birthday. I wanted to say a couple of things about him. One of the things, we went to a funeral today, and everything that was said was like all these wonderful, glowing things about our friend. And of course, most of the time you go to a funeral and you think, is that the person that I knew? You know, you hear that. But I don't think you wait till a funeral to say the things you feel for someone that you love, and or share experiences. And so I wanted to share an experience. Brenda was part of this when we climbed Timp Anogus. Remember Brenda? And the Bergesons went with us. And for some reason we got up there, and Robert has a problem with heights. Brenda was doing just fine. And we got to a place where the path was very narrow, really narrow. And he just was like terrified. But he didn't go back, and he didn't stop. He just went up the rest of that mountain like the Roadrunner. And it was just a perfect example to me of how he never gives up. No matter what happens has happened in his life, he doesn't give up. He keeps going. He thinks he can do anything. Now, he knows now that he can't do everything that he used to do, which you find out as you get to this age. But it was just such a great example. And the thing that happened is the Bergesons got scared of the heights too. And they were crawling and crying. And we were saying, have you seen a couple? We were looking for them. And they were crawling along the ledge, crying, the husband and wife. And so it just shows you the difference. And I just want you to know, honey, that I just appreciate the fact that you don't give up, that you just keep going no matter what.
And the Bergesons suck.
And she said,
Sperry's rock!
yeah. I also want to share this other thing. When we were in Tonga, and I'll put this back on the table so you can look at it. I'll just pass it around. This is Papa playing a Tongan drum, and it's in our family room now. And President Uchtdorf was coming to Tonga. And so they asked for 25 drummers. And Robert said, I want to be one of the drummers. And I thought, oh, good grief. And so he had to get a drum made. They had to get a cowhide. They had to get this barrel. They put this cowhide on there, tied it with ropes, and it had to sit on a roof for I don't know how long.
2 months.
2 months. And they were preparing this, and when we would practice on these drum, and he'd go like twice a week to practice with these other Tongans. Like half of them were like, what would you describe? People that had been exported from the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Been kicked out of the United States because they got in trouble with the law or been in prison. That's what would happen. They'd send them back to Tonga. I mean, a lot of them. And they were really kind of interesting looking people. One of them was a pregnant woman that was about ready to have a baby.
Oh my God.
And so he loved going and practicing that Tongan drum. And when we came home, how are we going to get that drum home? And McMurray had a huge, what do they call it? Crate, gigantic. And he brought home the Tongan drum. But one of the things that was so fun about this drum, it sat out on our patio. And these little children would come from school. And we always kept the drum. I wish I would have brought the drumsticks, but they're like chair legs. They take chair broke, they use those chair legs and made drumsticks. And they'd come and say, can we play the drum? And they'd come out and they were just those little kids, those little tykes, playing the drum, singing songs. The older missionaries would come and they would play the drum and they'd jump up in the air and hit it. So there's a lot of wonderful memories from that experience. I know that some of the children wanted to say a couple of things about their dad, experiences or whatever. And so we'll just have those that are going to do that to come up and do that. I think there's 2 or 3 that will be coming up. So
I thought there was 5.
there's only 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Static
great.
electricity.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, I just wanted to talk about a couple of the things that you introduced me to are some of my favorite things. Hiking and camping, for instance. And I really appreciate it. And I thought I would relate a little story from when I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. Went on a 50-mile hike with Dad. He was a scoutmaster at the time, I think. And we were going to get a big 20-miler in this one day. And it was just going to do this elegant loop. And we had been hiking for quite some time and didn't feel like we were making the proper curvature. And we kept going, and then we saw a sign. I think there was a sign or something, and it said that we were 18 miles from our camp. And so we hiked.
This is in New York.
Yeah, and so we hiked another 18 miles back, so that was a 36-mile hiking day. And I mean, some of the people were pretty. Yeah, their feet were messes. Yeah, there's a little hypothermia. You know, people losing lots of blisters, toenails, and stuff like that. But anyway, it was my first Sufferfest, and I keep going back for more. So thanks a lot, Dad. I love you very much.
All right. Wow, so many fun memories. I think some of the biggest things that come to mind is following you around. I kind of just followed you around for years, everywhere. I think you probably remember I asked a lot of questions as a kid, all the time. And I'd say, why? But it was, you tolerated all my 1,001 questions. And I loved all the projects we did. I learned how to be a handyman. I learned all the different types of crafts and projects. I think most importantly, you taught me how to work. And it's affected my life ever since. And it's been such a wonderful thing because I love to work because of everything you taught me. And it's helped me in my life dramatically. And I want to tell you, I greatly appreciate that. I love the time we spend skiing together. And you'll be able to ski with our kids and stuff. It's just so fun that we're skiing here this many years later and having these great memories and experiences, and it's just a wonderful time together. I want to tell you, I just love you deeply, and thanks so much for all the memories, and looking forward to many more.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Dad.
Well, I always felt like, even though you traveled all the time when I was growing up, I always felt like you were there and you were really supportive. And I mean, even though it was coming to dumb stuff like pep club, like some stupid pep club thing, you would come. And it's something I've always remembered because it meant so much to have your support. And I remember skiing with you, and I remember being so cold and saying, like, it wasn't, I never felt like it was a choice if I wanted to go skiing, to be totally honest. I didn't always want to go skiing. But we went with our chili and oranges. And I remember saying, I'm really cold, and you would give me like a square of chocolate. And you would blow hot air into my gloves, which kind of helped for a minute. And I remember, that's one of my memories. I mean, I loved skiing so much. I remember you taking me out of school to go skiing during the week, and no one else's parents were doing that. Like, but I got to go skiing during the week. And I say to people, like, my dad took me skiing during the week. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, he's pretty committed to skiing. So I remember doing that and thinking it was so wonderful and enjoying it so much. And Grant says he got his love of hiking from Dad. I got my love of the weather. So I check the weather every day. I try not to check as much in Portland because it just rains every single day. So it's just super depressing, but I always look at the weather, and I'm always getting phone calls about your meals. I know everyone else gets these, but it amuses me to no end because he would call and say, what'd you have for dinner? And it would be something crappy, and I'd be like, oh, we didn't have dinner today. Well, I had mashed potatoes. They were the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. And you're like, thanks. Or when you came to visit in New York and I had to take the diabetes test with Gretchen, and so I couldn't eat, and you went and got pizza. Do you remember this? And you were like, this pizza's so good. And I was just like, why? Why do you have to do that, Dad? But I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to you for being a good example. You know, when you hear about kids who grow up and they they feel like they have like problems with their dad, and so because of that they have like all these other issues. I feel so grateful that I had this dad who loved me and supported me and cared about me, and that's the way I've always felt. Like I've always felt like I had a dad who loved me and cared about me and supported me and would help me with anything. And I can call you up and you will talk to me and help me, and I know that I'm a priority for you. And that matters so much, and that makes me feel important and loved. And it's, you know I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm sure all of your children feel the same way. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful because when my friends would come over, you were always so nice to them. And you were always so fun.
And always told stupid jokes.
He told the worst jokes, always. And I do remember, and like I call on the phone and I say, hi, huff, 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 huff. Hi, Dad. Huff, huff, huff. Can I talk to Mom? Fa, fa, lupa. Fa, fa, fa. And sometimes I'm like, do we have to do this?
Yes.
Sometimes it's like sometimes I say, just put Mom on the phone. That's right, sometimes I'm like, just put Mom on the phone, let's not do our made-up language. Or like, hey, what do you want? Do you want a popsicle? No. Do you want a cake in the pants? Those jokes. I know. The best jokes. Have you not heard these from him?
Keep going.
Keep
going. I think they're just special to George. Or Jorge.
Oh, George's the only one, yes.
Can
And
we
I've
call
been
you
called
Jorge
George
now that you've
forever.
grown up?
You can call me Jorge. Always George. But I always felt like I just felt so loved. I remember being in my dorm room at BYU, and I think Becky called, and you had like a 10-minute conversation with her. And I was like, hello, and then by then you were like, I gotta go, and you like had to get off the phone with me. But you talked to Becky, and all my friends just thought, your parents are so nice, your dad is so fun. And, I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful. I feel like my life was really fun, and we did fun things together, and, I feel really grateful. I didn't feel grateful when you made me go up the canyon when I had really bad allergies. I didn't love that. But I love all the time that we've spent together, and I wish that we lived closer and saw each other more. And, my kids, for all intents and purposes, have one grandpa. And you're a really good grandpa. And we live far away, and you're a really good grandpa to them. And I'm super, super grateful because, you're kind of all they've got. And in terms of a grandpa, sorry, Gron. But they love you. And I love you, and I'm so grateful that you're my dad and for all you've done for me. I really am really grateful.
Well, thank you so much.